Welcome to another edition of What the Fuck Happenings from here in Mendham. Going to be a bit of a raw video, so I said, oh fuck it, I won't put the shirt on. Just a pretense anyway. Piro. I haven't watched the whole video yet. just can't endure it. It's they're just so bad. The constant and perpetual misparaphrase of what's being argued, this psychobabble bullshit about what people's intentions are in what they're saying. Just can't get any of it right, ever. And I do mean ever. Just never gets any of it right. And whether that's on purpose or he's just really stupid. That's sort of the question. This whole not learning thing, you just say, why wouldn't people learn a lesson in their life? And that's what it's really about, the subject, sort of, is I'm profoundly disappointed in Piro for lots of reasons, but especially in the sense that he became very pro-life after he had personal experience with the danger of playing with it. Playing this stupid, silly game, thinking you're competent to play God, create feeling sentient beings, and be responsible for their welfare, their proper care and maintenance. And, this is in the context of arguments that have been made something like, laying eggs and shit, not ever building a nest. Those arguments have been made to Piro, even before the tragedy. And, it's just the fact that this doesn't seem to roll in his head in any way and say, oh yeah, that sort of makes sense. Promising to put the infrastructure in, after, at the foundation after you've built the building, does sound like something that'll never get done. Those are just promises that'll never be kept. And the earthquake will come and that'll be the end. The tragedy will happen. The catastrophe. And lament, sad, like we couldn't figure it out. And he says, you're not going to make it. He says in this video, you're not going to make me a determinist. So again, he still can't even get that simple logic. That it's a cause and effect world, and it's completely predictable. You lay the eggs in shit, the little hatchlings are going to be shitty. They're going to have shit all over them. They're going to have a shitty life. And it's an overtly shitty world, and we all know that. We got shit, illegal shit, at the borders, just breaking in. Civilization is on decline. It's just a shitty time to even consider having a kid, even if there was a good time. But we know the only reason people ever did it was because they were stupid. Not because they were smart, because they were impulsive, not because they were thoughtful. I mean, there's no good character involved in the act of claiming to be competent, to take responsibility for putting something at risk, putting it on a tightrope and say, go ahead, Johnny, make the best of it. Let your fear be your guide. And your desire and your addictions, of course. Yes, you're addicted to not being smashed, so that'll give you incentive to get to the other side. I'm having fun. Are you having fun? And and so, he claims that I bring up his daughter. I don't bring her up in any specific ways. I do point out, you've had it shown to you right in your face how this isn't something you can control. This is dynamite, and it blows up in horrible ways. And that doesn't get to him. Doesn't give him any pause. No, go ahead. Everybody else, shove the fuse right into your dynamite. Keep it all fuse ready. Let's light up some more. Nothing learned at all. It's like the opposite. Like I said, he became even more pro-life in terms of his rhetoric after than before. And, I'm just having the, I think, normal, sensible reaction, which is you're psychotic. You're a dangerous motherfucker. Because this is like a drunk driver who kills people and then calls it the devil's water. He does it in the video. Calls it the devil's water. Now isn't that somebody just looking for a rationalization? Isn't that somebody just looking for a way to excuse it by saying, look, they call it the devil's water. It's just such an exaggeration. Look, they can't even, it's like somebody citing the, the old 1920s rhetoric against marijuana or something. Like, that's proof that it's perfectly fine. It's a perfectly good thing. He still hasn't gotten that. That if you're going to think you even have a chance of being a competent parent, one of your problems shouldn't be, I'm a drunk. Yeah, I mean, that should be like one of the things you figure out that, oh yeah, you can't do that. Having a bunch of bad habits isn't part of the qualifications. Yeah. It's a disqualification, clearly. It would fit into the category. If there was a category called disqualification, yes, it would fit in there. These little selfish impulsiveness, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that would all be stuff where you say, nope, 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 I'm disqualified. Yep. Don't measure up to the performance standards of the job. It's got to be a serious person, not a silly one. Not one distracted by a bunch of bad habits. But he doesn't even get that. He can't even learn that lesson through this process. To maybe say, hey, you know what? Maybe I should make a drugs is bad video. Maybe I should do a little talking about how being an addict is a bad thing, and it's certainly a bad thing to do in front of your kids. Yeah, maybe you shouldn't do that. Maybe you should shape up. Maybe this is a hell of a responsibility. Did you make the, being a parent is a hell of a responsibility video? You got to walk the walk. You can't just talk the talk. You got to build that nest out of real shit. None of this synthetic, spend space. It'll take care of it later. Don't worry. The universe will build the nest. You don't have to do it. The geometry will take care of it. Yeah. This bullshit. Throwing in little seeds from the physics discussion. It is kind of funny how the two channels now are starting to bleed into each other in these kind of unpleasant ways. So that's my biggest gripe, is that first off, I'm just profoundly disappointed in all the time I wasted on this asshole, because he's just an asshole. He's a belligerent asshole. He can learn nothing. He still has the philosophy of a fucking 12-year-old. I mean, he's just never going to grow up. I mean, that's why he started smoking when he was fucking 39 years old or whatever the fuck it was. He's still a stupid kid saying, oh, that cigarette, can I try that? I mean, just apply no reasoning to anything. Just impulse. Impulse, impulse, impulse. He's a fucking definition of the cockroach. And I see such a sadism in it now, because he's so belligerently shoving kids into danger. He's belligerently saying they should shove them into danger. Poor people should have kids. Of course they should. Ignorant people should have children. Of course they should. Yeah. I mean, it's just horrid. And then this latest thing was provoked. He left a comment on one of my videos, and unfortunately I thought I saved it, but I didn't. But I did block him afterwards just because it's just so gross. So he says, first off, he says, my daughter is at peace. My victim is at peace. Okay. And that's just more evidence of how he just doesn't get it. And he even does it again in this new video, where he says, it would have been better if she lived. What? Tormented? Unhappy? A miserable life? It would have been better if she continued to feel like there's no place for her. This world is too fucking smelly and ugly. My father's too fucking silly. My mother's too psychotic. Whatever it is. It's better if she would have lived through some more of that. To do what? Oh, to eventually get sick and die. You haven't done that part yet, have you? Yeah, that's right, you haven't. You haven't done the whole nursing home trick. You haven't done going blind trick. You haven't done all the little fun things that connect the cancer trick. I mean, that's just so much fucking fun. And yet you're pro-life. You know it's all okay. You can impose this shit on anybody. It's okay. It's so free. It's so unharmful. It's so undangerous. Yes, you can just shove this dioxin into any pocket anywhere. And I'm supposed to say you're a swell guy? And why are you doing it? Why are you so fucking pro-life? For what good reason? Because you have some silly cloud notion, the clouds say so. Life is life. Who used to say that? Skyzer? Life is life. That's a reason? That's logic of some kind? It's babble. It's childish. It's so fucking... It's like you can't even call it immature because it doesn't even have any fucking... it can't even do mitosis. It can't turn into anything. It's so gooey and mushy. It has no character. It has no substance. It has no grain at all as a fucking idea. The universe is doing it, so it should keep doing it. Because it's... Look! It's dangerous and it blows up. Isn't that good enough? No. 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 And so, yeah, that's the bottom line, is that, you know, the world is clearly not ground for laying eggs. This clearly isn't good enough. We've clearly, as a species, failed to make a decent civilization. Even the ones that are called great absolutely suck. You know, 99% of the resources held by 1% of the people kind of bullshit. And you're, what, you think it's good enough? Well, it's the best we could have done, so, you know, it's no determinism, but, you know, it's what the way it came out, so let's just play. Who cares? Who cares if the soccer ball has giant spikes in it that nobody filed down? Yeah, who cares? So what, a few people get spiked in the eye, who cares? I don't care, clearly. It's not a worry I have. It's not something that's not a game stopper for me. You know, I kind of like watching people get spiked in the fucking head. And so then, you know, my reaction is, kick this asshole to the curb. An idea I never really had, and emotions I never really had, but damn, get what you deserve, you fucking sadist. And so I should give a shit about you in some way? I should have some sort of kernel of give a damn? No, I should get thoroughly disappointed, recognize the bug for what it is, and hope it gets a proper raid. Come save the day. Mr. Clean shows up and does the right thing. Does what needs to get done, which is we gotta have better people in the world talking. We gotta have people with more rational sense that can appreciate the burdens and the impositions that exist, and don't play this silly cloud cover-up, this fucking whitewash of everything into it's all for the best. Yeah, silver linings and such. I mean, so yeah. Fuck, I'm saying I have no reason. There's no rational reason anywhere in my brain space. All there can be is some sort of emotional, gooey, sticky part of oh, but it's Piro, blah, 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 kind of mush. But there's no reason to think this person deserves any consideration whatsoever because he gives none whatsoever. So, yeah, fuck him. Yeah. I mean, you're worse than the average right-to-lifer because you have more vocabulary and more education. And so you really have no excuse for talking like a fucking 12-year-old, driven by your impulses. So you threw in some little crack about how my ideas are all based on, some kind of psychotic implementation, and those ideas, I guess, would be the fact that I say over a 20-year period they ought to essentially grandfather out the idea of inheritances over $2 million. Oh, yeah, that's psychotic. What a psychotic idea. And apparently his next video is back on his land tax shit. He put my name in the video for no good reason, apparently. In some sort of, again, dishonest manner, implying that I might have something positive to say about it or something like that. So again, just ignoring the fact that I've already made my arguments in videos repeatedly, why it's the silliest idea ever, that you're not going to get to the wealthy by taxing commodities. Because wealthy people aren't as dumb as you, Piero. Wealthy people are smart enough to figure out, well, if they're taxing the land, I'm not going to own any. Yeah. And then they'll buy something else. And when they buy something else, that means the price of that something else will go way the fuck up. So you won't win, idiot. That's not how you end wealth. You want to end the problem of the 1% owning too much? Just get rid of the legacy ownership, because that's where they're collecting most of it. That's where 99% of the wealth is inherited. And if you figure that part out, then you can solve the problem. But until you figure out that that's the real problem, you're not going to fix any of it. You're just going to make it maybe worse, or stay the same. But you're not going to fix it until you understand it. And you don't understand shit. And that's the truth. And, again, the immigration subject. I'm the psychotic one, and he's the one who says, okay, yes, you have a place that has organization and is dependent on people behaving a certain way and understanding certain norms and ways of living and all that kind of stuff. And then you say, yes, just bring in people who don't understand the rule book at all and aren't going to play by it at all, and everything will be just fine. And no, we know that won't work. Bring your crippled, your disabled, your pregos, your religious kooks, and huddle them here. Yeah, they'll work out fine for us. People who aren't any of those things. It'll work out fine for them. I mean, totally unrealistic. How can you call anybody else psychotic in their implementation? He suggested that we should go ahead and pretend we lost the Civil War and split the nation in pieces, and that somehow will make life better. Yeah, no chance. The complete draconian selfish state and the preposterously unrealistic welfare state. Yes, it would be so much better as those two wacky nations, than this sick, but not as bad as that. At least we could say America is one thing. It's not as bad as its two polar opposites. Oh, fuck. I mean, it's just, like I said, and he calls somebody else psychotic. Yeah. And then he expects, after he does this for years, that somebody's supposed to still have some sense of, well, you were my buddy. Yeah, no, that's long past and dead now, fucker. You've made your bad rhetoric dead, and you have to lie in it. You've taken your cheap shots, and now you got to pay for it. But it's even that, like I said, he talks as if this has something to do with me wanting to hurt him. And it has absolutely nothing to do with that. It has to do with the fact that I'm horrified by these sadistic bastards. It's so exactly how am I treating you any different than I would treat Anticontavat or any of these other psychotic pro-life assholes, who just do it because they say, what's in it for me? I'm having fun. What are you complaining about, fuckers? What, you don't like being born crippled? Oh, well, too bad. You don't like the world I like to live in, where we play pool and get drunk and puke on the table and shit? You don't like doing that? You don't like living in my silly, fucking, trivial, silly, jackass world? Yeah. That's as far as he thinks. He just can't imagine how somebody could land in this wonderful paradise and say, what, I'm supposed to play this stupid game? I'm supposed to pretend I'm somebody and then record a conversation and spam people's phones, and I'm supposed to resell them some shit. I'm supposed to all the time be lying to people about how much something costs or something else so I can make some money. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I love playing the game of shithead. Oh, yeah, being a shithead is just so much fucking fun. Oh, we'll fix that later. Isn't everything getting so much better? Maybe? Yeah, It's just super. All you assholes have to take pills to get your dicks up. Yeah, it's so much better. Yeah, you're all winners. Fuck. You're all winning. Yeah, you're winning big time. So anyway, yeah, I wrote down, no, you should learn it is dangerous and can cause catastrophe. Is that too complicated? That's the point here? Is that the minimum you should have gained from this experience was the recognition that, I was way in over my head, wasn't I? Yes, I was. I'm still not competent because I'm still impulsive and silly. And I was really silly back then when I started that mess. So yeah, if you're silly, don't have kids. You can't even do that. You can't even say those words. If you're a silly person, don't have kids. You can't even do that. Didn't even learn that lesson. If you're distracted, if you think you're important and you have a whole career and life thing to do, yeah, probably kids ain't for you because it's a big, gnarly job. I mean, they're going to turn into human beings, and, the kind of human being they're going to be is kind of going to be dependent on how you fuck them up. And the How to Fuck Up a Kid book really hasn't been written very well. It's written by a bunch of idiots. It takes a village to raise a child. Yeah, I mean, those books aren't going to help you much, bud. So maybe you shouldn't be having no fucking kids. You can't even do those public service announcements, even though it's hit him right in the face. The shit hit the fan, flew right in his goddamn face, and he's still saying, yeah, go ahead, pile that shit up. Oh, yeah, keep that fan plugged in and ready. Yeah, amazing. Oh, I was supposed to time this video so my files don't get too long. It's troublesome if it goes too big, then I can't smash them together with ease. Alright, so yeah, the devil's water thing, just, like I said, that was just so obvious. Somebody running away from the issue, which is everybody should be able to say, even somebody who loves to drink and take drugs, even they should be able to say, hey, if you can do life without it, you're probably better off. It really doesn't make me a more competent person. It really doesn't make me a more functional person. It doesn't do any of that shit. That's all a lie. Yeah, so, I mean, if you're, lots of them have rationalizations, well, I was crazy until I smoked pot, so smoking pot made me not crazy. So if you're crazy, smoke pot. Yeah, okay, maybe you can do that, pull off that kind of bullshit. But I'm just saying, it's really easy to say, don't do that. It's just as easy as saying, look, if you really don't have to eat meat, don't eat meat, right? There's lots of other shit to eat, no big deal. Is that too hard to do? No. And so it's not about the real subject. It's just about them validating them being assholes. They're a retard, so they're validating retardation. That's simple. They're just trying to keep pumping up the retarded standards so they can keep saying, I'm winning, because everybody else would be a retard like them. A failure, a dupe, a fool, an ignorant, sadistic asshole. So anyway, alright, that's probably enough of this segment. And, yeah, I don't know if there's any point in even watching the rest, because it's all based on these false premises that these subjects are somehow brought up for any other purpose than to rescue individuals like myself and others who have been subjected to the bad judgment of assholes who had no business telling their children, no, I like this world, it's perfectly okay. Huh? It's perfectly fine. Not dangerous at all. Getting cancer isn't a big deal. Yeah. Those are the people I'm defending, asshole. Not you, you fuck. I'm not attacking you. I'm attacking your violence to decency, your rudeness to beauty, your disgusting imposition. You fucking are raping the future with your fucking moronic, pie-in-the-sky, fluffy cloud delusions. You suck. Okay. Till later, perhaps, and such. Ah, it's me again. Yes, back for some more. It ended up being more Piro video, because I watched more of it. Stay. Please. well, do the best you can, camera. Come on. You can do better than that. You can do better. I know you can. Oh, we're almost on the subject. Try again. Ugh, Piro's bullshit. As if they try, in any real sense. They, like all of us, are vulnerable to finding the quick, glib solution, which is, I'll put it off till tomorrow. Procrastinate, make rationalizations and excuses. So again, the world's a shithole. No rational person can say otherwise. Most of the people are living stressful, difficult, anxious lives. That's why they're all taking some kind of psycho whatever drug to get through it, and doing all kinds of, stapling their stomachs, doing all kinds of wacky shit to, somehow survive their condition, their human condition. And, but no, somehow it's all fantastic. It's working so well. But if they admit, okay, yes, there's some failure, try again. It just, again, this is try again in the sense of pushing kids onto tight ropes. Oh, the first one fell off. Oh, too bad. Try some more. Maybe we'll find a way to get it across the tightrope. It doesn't fall into the pit of alligators. Try again for what? For what good reason is the question. What good reason do you have to hype this train wreck? To sit there and just find ways to put candy right in front of the doors to the train wreck. It's got train wreck written right on it. And you're just finding excuses to seduce people into creating little kids to go on the train. Why are you doing that? For what good reason are you doing this? Because the Martians need to exist? Again, there's just no logic here. Besides your will to live forever or something. Humans must exist because if humans don't exist, they won't remember me. There won't be anybody here to rub the statue of me. What is this about? What are you fucking selling here? Why are you selling this bad product? This lemon of a fucking car. Why are you selling it? You don't need the money. So why are you doing it? And doing it so aggressively. He's so aggressive in his need to do it, his pro-lifing, that he comes up with these preposterous accusations for anybody who points a finger at him and says, fool. And one of them is, like I said, I didn't get to it in the comment he wrote. So first he says, my victim is at peace. My counter-argument was, yes, every victim is at peace, you fucking idiot. Everybody who's suffered it died of it eventually. So yes, they're all at peace now. That doesn't undo the horror. That doesn't undo their torment. There's videos of people in, psychiatric institutions from the 40s and shit. There's videos of people being electroshocked. Yes, they're at peace. So what? Amazing statement. And then he says, your victims, like I've created any, that I've advocated for any. No, I'm the one saying stop. I'm saying at least press the pause button. At least have the guts to say pause. Let's try to do this better. Let's analyze and reconsider. I'm saying stop, but I'm just saying at minimum, can't you people fucking hit the pause button? But anyway, so he says my victims are starving, blind, and tick-ridden or something. So he's referring to the stray cats I feed. Not my cats. Their cats. The pet owner's cats. His fucking cats. The cats he creates with his consumption, with his purchase, with his avocation. The problem that exists because of his consequences. And he blames it on me. And then he says, I'm an escapist. I'm not taking responsibility for my life. Because I'm not doing what? Because I'm not fixing the stray cat problem. Except I'm advocating to fix the stray cat problem. I'm overtly saying, yes, we must accept kill shelters. Yes, that's the only solution. You must accept the idea that it's better never to have been for these animals, but the best we can do is stop them from being. And you're not doing them any fucking favor, cutting their nuts off and throwing them on the street so I have to feed them. I mean, fuck. Yeah. So yeah, I just find it, I mean, it's just overtly disgusting to say they're my victims, that I somehow did the wrong thing, that I made a wrong choice, that I made a wrong statement, that I advocated for the wrong thing, I voted wrong somehow and created this problem, and then I'm whining about having to solve it. No, I didn't create the goddamn problem. I didn't start the fucking fire. You assholes did. You're the fucker playing with the matches, for fuck's sake. You're overtly tossing them. You're overtly saying, play with matches, you fucking cunt. You are the fucking pyro. You're the fucking fire starter, for fuck's sake. And then you're blaming it on somebody else? Calling them irresponsible? And the joke is how could I be more responsible? I feed the cats, I worry for their welfare, and then he accuses me of not even having the knowledge to treat them for bug infestations or whatnot, and of course I have, and I explained in the other video, I don't want to go through all this crap, but yes, I mean, some of that stuff I have some fear about because I put it on one cat and its fucking fur fell off for 2 years. But no, this is an easy problem to solve. There's no decisions to be made. The cat's blind. What am I supposed to do? Whack it over the head with a brick? What's your fucking solution? Why don't you fix that problem? You fucking cunts. To sit there and blame me. Like I had any will at all. Like I made one tiny fucking penny in the fountain contribution to the problem when I didn't. Alright. Fucking cunt. I have negative something about life because I don't take responsibility. Yes, that's what he said. I have a negative attitude towards life because I don't take responsibility. So it's just amazing. They make shit piles, these ignorant cunts. They lay eggs in them, and if the chick is smart enough to say, hey, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense, okay? This is shit. What are you doing with me here? Why am I in this institution? Why am I in this forced march? Because you like it? Oh, okay. I have to like it? I mean, I have to? I have to learn to like it? Or lump it in some stupid way like, oh, kill yourself. It's my obligation. Again, another mess I'm obligated to clean up. I can't possibly argue for prevention because there's no good reason for the mess being made. I mean, absolutely no good reason. Except you people are too stupid to figure out because something exists, it doesn't mean it should exist. Oh, amazing. So I'm just saying, what consideration does this cunty deserve? Alright, I shouldn't use that language. I mean, that's part of this thing, because he then accuses me of not accepting my failures when I've made videos talking about how I've dismally failed. And then I just point out also, though, apparently this is the best I can do. I mean, as much as people say, oh, you can do better, you can do this. Well, apparently, this was the best I could do, because I am doing my best. And that's always a trick question in the sense that you could just say, well, no, if you had a different thought thing, you could have done better. Well, yes, but I didn't have the different thought thing. And even the whole idea of, controlling this circumstance, it's beyond my competence, maybe. I just don't have the competence to play this game well enough. Blah, blah, blah. So far, anyway. And, but you can think about that and you say, well, what if David Benatar himself had a YouTube channel? Would anybody find it interesting? Would he be a huge success? I mean, yeah, it's a hard sell. Because all you fairy talists don't want to deal with the truth. You're the one just desperately running from your responsibility for causing the problem, starting the fucking fire, blowing on the fucking flames, for fuck's sake. You're overtly doing it, and yet denying you're doing it. It's just an amazing escapism. A disgusting escapism. man, I don't know how you get away with this shit. Alright, so people feeling powerless is the problem. No, you assholes thinking you're godlike is the problem. You assholes thinking cleaning up later is a good enough reason to do it now. We'll clean it up later. we'll fix it later. We'll build the nest later. It's egg laying time. Fucky. You're fucking idiots. Shit. Okay, so then it was just the my failure bullshit, and so the other part was just this try again. So he just says it overtly. Well, so you have repeated failures. Just try again. Just keep failing. Just keep pushing. Just keep shoving things into the meat grinder. Oh, it failed. They got ground up. I wonder why the wonderful thing, okay, that looks just like a meat grinder. It's what it looks just like a meat grinder, and you just keep saying, but it's wonderful thing. It's fluffy cloud maker machine. And you just keep shoving things into it, and they keep getting ground up. You keep failing, and then you just keep saying, well, I just keep trying again. And he has this idea that somehow you learn something. And my whole point of making this video is, you learned nothing. You can't learn. You're intractably stupid. You can't be taught because you've had the lesson spilled right in front of you. It's right there, and you can't see it. For fuck's sake. And so try again means what? Just keep pushing shit into the meat grinder. Don't change your behavior. Don't change anything. Fuck, change is horrible. No, just keep pushing shit into the meat grinder. Fuck. I mean, it's so obnoxiously stupid. I mean, he just overtly demonstrates the problem. And like they are trying. Oh yeah, we're trying. By not saying anything reasonable and just keep promoting the wonderful thing. I'm selling them, on a discount. I get I have a link, affiliate link, and I get a percentage. That's trying. That's trying to do better. Fuck. Not even close enough to even the word T. It's not even, can't even get that part right. It's a 3-letter word and you have no hope of getting it conceptually. Alright, so that's probably enough of that. Alright, so I did want to get to the other guy. Whatever his name is. Where did I put his comment? It's got to be somewhere. It's probably over here. So this is on the physics channel anyway, and it's just not, Puro typed his comment on my physics channel, for fuck's sake. I mean, just too stupid. Too way off the fucking subject. So it says, let's see. So I can't remember the guy's name. It doesn't really matter. It's just, it's just people are just raggy. He comments on Puro's videos and agrees that somehow my philosophy is somehow wrong. But anyway, no other species has evolved the capacity for religion. Yes, no other species has language, but is it really your proposition that if some other species had gotten intelligence that they'd be anything else other than the selfish assholes we have been? They would start off dumb as shit. They would start looking at the world and saying, where's the candy store? Me want candy. And they would make themselves a elephant god, a god in their own image, or a hippopotamus god, or a cockroach god, or whatever it would be, and they'd play the same stupid game of acquiring knowledge. They'd have these life lessons happen right in front of their face, and learn nothing from most of them. The booby traps would fall in them, and they just climb out and say, well, let's do it again. There's only 3 or 4 dead people in there. It's worth it. We're only killing people. What's the big deal? Well, people would be, elephants or whatever. So anyway, that's just a silly remark. Evolve the capacity for religion. The capacity for delusion fairy tale. The capacity to make up a silly story and then believe it. Yeah, wow, that's something to evolve into, isn't it? A complete dumbass. Great. Can you explain that? Explain what? The fact that there's only one platypus? There's only, I mean, there's lots of organisms that are sort of by themselves. Nothing else evolved into an asshole. So the fact that the rest of the animal kingdom didn't say, oh yeah, let's become one of those, faggoty humans, those weak, silly creatures. Yeah, no, they said, no, I'm an elephant. I kick ass. Just the way I'm cool, just the way I am, thanks. Don't need to be no silly human. Ken Dawkins? Question mark. Explain again. He doesn't. You're that vacuous on evolution that everything can't be buffalo. Everything doesn't turn into wildebeest. The whole point is to do it different and then have the competition in what survives over time. Intelligent humans, if those two words could ever rightly be put together, have only been around for 10,000 years, retard. So what do you think? You're a huge success already, do you? You've proven the model works. You've already dropped nukes. Yeah, I don't think you've proven it yet. Shit for brain. So the issue is not whether or not God is true or false. Well, it is an issue. Whether it's the issue, I don't know. I think it's pretty much, in my opinion, you can't get a wronger answer wrong than to pick the wrong one. Evolution or silly fable. Yeah, if you don't pick the right one, yeah, that's a big IQ deficit kind of thing. If you get that question wrong, you're really fucking stupid. How straight is the straight line? The issue is whether or not belief in God is selectively beneficial. Why is that the issue? Is it beneficial to what? Survival? Well, that doesn't mean anything. I mean, cockroaches survive. Flies survive. Mosquitoes survive. Ticks survive. Surviving doesn't mean you have any merit, asshole. So, wrong answer again. Not even understanding what the word beneficial means, in the sense that benefit to what? The rapist? Yeah, okay, let's do what's beneficial for rapists. Fuck, you're dumb. In other words, if belief in God is something that evolved, well, obviously it didn't evolve as a single thing. The only thing that evolved was the capacity to create language and conceptual knowledge, to put things in categories and to identify things by properties and have words for that. That's what evolved. The only difference between us and the other sentient organisms is our fact that we have language, and through the vocabulary that makes possible, we can identify the world and retain it and understand it. Give them language, give them the capacity to do that storage, and yeah, they're smart too. You idiots think it's some special giant brain thing that's doing it. No, it's just one little tiny part of the brain that's doing it. That's the difference. Little tiny, tiny change. And that'll be proven someday, and then you'll raise a chimpanzee that can actually talk, and he'll say, God, you people are ugly as fuck. Anyway, if belief is something evolved, then the message of evolution is that belief in God is good for survival. So again, we haven't survived any length of time whatsoever on any kind of scale. Dragonfly, 320 million years. So go ahead and catch up with that. Same damn design. Really. Same thing. I mean, all the bugs in the fucking stuck in the 200 million year old tree sap, they're all bugs that exist now. A ton of them. Very successful bugs. That means it's a great design. That means it's a great thing to have. That means the universe is so much cooler because it has the blood-sucking, lay your eggs in the head of a fucking praying mantis. No. It doesn't mean a damn thing, you stupid idiot. In comparison, atheists live a bitter, lonely existence. Yeah, well, at least we're not compulsive liars. cheating on our wives, right? When we pray to God and we love our little 10 commandments, and you can't even keep 10 simple idiotic commandments. You can't do anything, honestly, you fucking creepy little liars. So whatever that is, bitter, lonely existence. I'm deliriously happy that I'm not strapped into your fucking tiny, closed little world. Ugh, you penis haters. I love my penis. Fuck you, idiot. You yourself can substantiate this last point. No, what makes life insufferable is pukes like you. Life would be okay. Yeah, tolerable. It's only you pukers that just ruin the whole game. You disgusting, putrid, weak, cruddy, smelly, blubbery, fairy tale livers. Ugh. Anyway, let me see if you can be honest about this last point. There's no last point to be honest about. Believing in God would not make me a happier person. It could only make me a dumber person. So you're saying that the God believers don't worry about the people being killed or harmed or tortured, the person in the nut house, you know, licking the wallpaper. No, it doesn't bother me, because I'm religious. It's all okay. God's will and such. You know. There plenty of them are crying all over the world, running to their lords, running to their sacred healing places, and whining and begging for relief. Yeah, so fuck you. Can you be honest about that? So yeah, fuck you. Religious kooks. Who needs them? Nothing. No one. Just totally waste of neurology. Anyway, till next time. Which might be almost now. Alright, some kind of last bit, I suppose. Finally saying such and so forth. Yeah. Looking around, Old Fan did her annual Why I'm an Antinatalist kind of contest thing, and lots of videos, so that was good. People made, but it's all generally speaking, you know, same argument. Life is too poopy. That's all. You know, it's just not a good enough mix. It's not good enough to be especially imposing. Especially if you're the person that gets a big pile of the good, not good enough on your plate. And you don't have any taste for it at all. Too dangerous, too messy, just not good enough to vote for. So it's not a complex argument, really. I mean, glad people are making it, but yes. And it's something, as argued, in a sense, you may have to have it worm. The worms might actually have to worm their way through you a little bit, dig some holes, before you get it. And say, wow, do I want to be vulnerable to this? Do I want more of that? Am I voting for that? I'm voting for that shit? No, I don't want to vote for that. And I certainly don't want to vote for it for somebody else. I mean, like I said, it's one thing in the context of your addiction and understanding your the fact that you're in the game and you know how to play, and so you want to play. But, you know, to make players to play a bad game, why is it so hard to say, yeah, let's not do that? I mean, again, what is the reason for this pro-life stance when there's no logical reason to think you're saving anybody by putting them at risk? Again, it's the making the Martian argument. Are the Martians in a horrible place now? Do we really think? Does everybody have do we have a national holiday? You know, whatever, National Tragedy Day or something? And lament the horror that they're not walking the tightrope? Come on. It's just stupid. And, you know, the fact that people are too stupid to just admit that, okay, yeah, that's all kind of bullshit, right? Why risk the mess? because obviously it's not important. If it was important, we'd be really worried about all the people that don't exist because of abortions and condoms. We'd all have national cry for the non-existent poor people, because we could have so many more. Piro might do that, I'm not sure, but he might actually do something that ridiculous. But yeah, it's just, yuck. Alright, so I wrote something down. Anti-cunt. Oh, anti-cuntivad. Just made a video. Oh, jeez. It's supposed to be about religion, I guess. He says I'm a bigot or something. But it's really not about the standard kind of bigotry. It's about, I guess he has the limits of his tolerance of silly religions. And in the ironic sense of just coming from another guy who just talks out of both sides of his face, you know, in the sense that he marries a religious kook, pretty much. And then, and then talks about how he's a bigot against religious kooks. I mean, come on, why don't you just step in that mud and then complain about it on your boots? Sorry. I don't know, I haven't seen the video, but it won't play it until tomorrow, I guess. The new and improved internet, that isn't compatible with anything. I guess that part's going to get worse and worse. XP users will be, eliminated from the the stream, which is okay in a way. I'd rather not be connected. I think some days it'd just be better to just do output. Don't ever do an input, because every input's just annoying. So Snake Plissken has made a couple of videos, but it's the same old routine, this MGTOW shit, and he's doing his maniology thing or something. It's just, forget it. There's silly people and their silly estimations of what's an important subject. Bizarrely silly. So anyway, back to the Piro crap. I did watch the rest of the tripe, and it was just that. It was just complete rubbish. In terms of the premises and the arguments made. I mean, just insane in the sense of this idea of him blaming the blamers, so to speak. So it's the same anaconabot, a tactic. You're guilt mongering, and then they'll impose it on you and say, look, you're causing the harm by imposing the guilt on the person who's guilty. I mean, how do you argue with nonsense that fucking thick and gooey? So the waste and the harm imposed, and it's imposed. It doesn't just happen. It happens because of humans vote for it. And he thinks it's all, no, we can fix it. We can fix it. We can fix it. So it's just this promise. More promises about making the better world, but just keep laying eggs in the one we have. And we'll promise in the future we'll pay the bills. In the future, we're gonna balance the budget back. We're gonna pay all of those debts back. Sure, we will. I mean, I won't, of course. Yeah, so some other sucker will, somewhere. We'll have to sacrifice, half of his income to pay back the debt. I don't want to do it. I don't have any. I have no ambition to do it. But I'm sure one of them will do it. Yeah, I'm sure they will. So it's the same bullshit. He can fix it. He's going to make it all okay with his God powers. The same ones he thought he was going to use to, live a reckless, sloppy life and take care of the responsibilities he created for himself and didn't take care of. So then he does the other perfect tactic, which is my philosophy is an emotional issue. And he had the same emotional issue, and he overcame it because he has, his superpowers. He's super pyro. And so it's just because I'm a baby or weak that, I haven't become a glib Borgite. Yeah. But I would have never had kids, even long before I had an anxiety disorder. Having children was not on the program at all. Not even close. You're not allowed to have penis fun with your children. So why would I have a kid? Because I had no interest in doing just about anything else. Eat, sleep, penis fun. That's about it. The rest of everything else is kind of bullshit. If I can't jerk off to it or on it, hell with it. As far as I was concerned, I didn't, there was nothing, I didn't need to go pet anything or do it. I didn't need to, whatever the game was to play. I wasn't all that enthusiastic. Um, because once you grow up a little bit, once you go through a few Christmases, you get the idea. Oh yeah, I really want this, and then you get it, and you say, it's kind of lame. And that's what everything turns into. So I mean, I already knew the game. I mean, I didn't know it as deeply as I know it now in terms of how it was controlling my psychology, but I'd already identified the symptoms of this thing, life, and I'd already declared myself kind of a shithead, because I kind of knew I was just a conniving, selfish fuck. So what's the gameplay here? There's no real game here. It's just everybody put on their little pretensive uniforms that say I'm good and look good for the camera, and then when the camera's off, they're all stealing candy from babies. So it's just such a pile of shit, and so he blames that. That's not an understanding of reality. No, that's just an emotional issue. Just a bullshit argument. Disgustingly bullshit. So he thinks he's going somewhere. He's on some, voyage, and he keeps talking about he's going to keep searching, for the perfect imposition. See if he can really get away with actual rape someday, maybe. But that's all it is. You're not searching for the answer or the solution because it's right in front of you. Don't put the ingredients in for a bomb, and you won't have it, and it won't blow up. Don't put dynamite, in the recipe, and it'll be safe. But he keeps insisting it must be blow up cookies. It's just such bullshit. All right, let's see. I can't read that. The Snick, who is the cynic who's a nature Borget. So it's just such the irony of his cynicism when he is such a just eat the Borg, just feed on these delusionary little cloud shapes, and nature's all pretty, and look, it makes sounds, and it's just baby talk, and to call that cynicism, that he's some kind of guy who thinks about shit before he acts, when he's the most impulsive, reckless shit brain walking. He's the same as Anaconda. He's just sitting there sniffing. What smells like it's edible? Doesn't think about anything. What smells tasty? That's it. There's no thought given to anything, especially thought that's introspective and analyzes your own silly, stupid motivations and your own culpability in the creation of the problem. And again, to sit there and turn that around and say, I have somehow done that, when I've done exactly the opposite in my life. I've been incredibly careful. No venereal diseases, no reckless baby making. I was always very careful, always very thoughtful. Never drunk drive, that kind of stuff. It's not in my nature not to be cautious. Shit. And so then he puts it goes even further, and implies that I should be doing more. And like him, like what? I should make more victims like him. Again, so it's really, that's the argument, is you play so you can make more messes, so your mess total will be as high as mine. That's all he's encouraging. That's all he's really saying. But if I was really going to be an actor for the cause, you're not going to like the things I'd be doing. Because, I do consider you people rapists and murderers, and, you're just about as despicable as a monster can be. So you deserve the monster punishment. So do you think if I was going to be a more aggressive for the cause, do you think it's going to be something you're going to like? No, you're not going to like it. You're not going to like it if I was a real devotee, because real devotion isn't going to be a good day for you. Not at all, fucker. So, even that's just such a stupid thing to say. it's like somebody's people in an intractable war situation, and some asshole shows up with that kind of rubbish. Well, you should be more devoted to your causes. Yeah, they're already pointing guns at each other. So what should the higher devotion be? They'll drop a nuke. Yeah, because frankly, that's the only direction more devotion can go. You know, is how do I cripple that rapist? That's the devotion. So because I don't have the sensibilities for it, I don't have the guts to either enjoy the act, like you sadistic fuckers, or to tolerate the punishment. Yes, you know, I can be ridiculed for that. Fine, whatever. So I think he's another one of these accusations that I somehow contrived these videos to push Pierrot's buttons, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, the obvious answer, when I treat everybody like shit, who I don't like, that's kind of when you get in the category of you're the enemy, then why wouldn't I treat them all the same, which I do. And he even references that. But yes, he still has this theory that I somehow go look for buttons on each one to press. When I think, any reasonable person would say, yes, it's unlikely Gary's wasting a lot of time figuring out how to press a button on these assholes, when the only button I'm pressing is recognize you're an asshole, and I'm making the clear accusation, I can see your dick in the little girl's ass. Okay, I can see what you're doing, the animals you're eating, your whole fucking attitude about the torture you impose, the unclean-upable messes of the catastrophes that happened because of the game you insist must be played. You will force it to be played. You will encourage them to have an army that protects the game. Save the game. Save the game. It must be played. You know, and then you point your finger at me and say, you made it possible. You caused that girl to get burned alive. You gave that woman cancer. No, I didn't do it. You did, asshole. You are causing the problem by saying it's a game worth playing. Because you have taken advantage of your life in some way and glibbed your way through it, skipping and going tra-la. And yes, sensible people say, no, that's not the appropriate reaction to this scale of slop. So, well, just an asshole. Okay, so, yeah, so the advocating is the cause. He's just embracing recklessness and superficial analysis. Don't think about the bad stuff. Pretend it didn't happen. Sweep it under the rug. That's all he is. A pretender. And then he accuses me of some sort of imagination thing, that it's in my imagination, the horror, you know, and that somehow I have this imaginary delusion that, you know, the right answer should win, the logical choice, which is you have no good reason to do something, and the thing comes with incredible jeopardy, then you don't do it. It's the rational math for doing risk equations. And he says, I'm glib and delusional because I talk about that math. Because I kind of imply, if not directly state, it's the most important math you can do is prevention. Prevention isn't worth a pound of something, it's worth a ton of everything good. Prevention is the best solution. And these assholes make sure that solution doesn't get realized because they keep giving lazy and reckless people an excuse to continue to be lazy and reckless. Just like in his scientific arguments, he does these superficial, well, they've already done all those experiments and they already proved that and they already did this. He gives the lazy and the inarticulate and the unthoughtful and the people who don't want to do the work of actually analyzing excuses to use that kind of rubbish rhetoric, that somehow they've already solved the problem. when they haven't even come close. Yeah. So, anyway. Despicable creature. Horrible, 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 horrible. Blight. Blight. Anyway, that's probably enough of a video. I don't think there's anything else to directly rag on. Thunderfoot's, for the next couple of weeks, getting all ready for his big eclipse shadow thing. It'd be just so exciting to see shadows. Shadows are just, wow, look at the big shadow. I wish you would do the Eddington thing, and videotape all the stars behind the sun popping out and jumping about in funny ways because of solar lensing. Why doesn't he do that experiment? Yeah. Anyway, till the next time, and such, and yes, it continues to be nauseating to be a visitor on this shithole of a crap-ass planet occupied by these pretenders. We have bigger brains. Yeah, full of shit.